Alright. Ooh. So, I think this video should be about the the alternative education schema that I've come up with called the Art of Living. This is, I guess it starts with the idea of the UNIVIUM, and so that's what we're going to start with now. The UNIVIUM is a infant education schema or program or whatever you want to call it. It's a system, and unfortunately the word system comes from originally the networks of CES comes from, like, you know, fecal matter. Basically it was the systems that they used in Rome and in order to sort of funnel the human waste out of the city. So we get the word system from that. So you know, I feel bad using that word, but whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it, basically this is a way of educating infants without having a prescriptive or formal method of doing so. All it is an aesthetic. You're just creating an environment with music and simple geometric shapes and language, people speaking to the infant. It's very elementary. This is very just creating an environment of stimulus, basically, is all the UNIVIUM is about. And in order to create this environment, there have to be adults who are attentive and aware, conscious, to the degree that's necessary. In order for that to exist, there has to be an adult education program or schema or system as well. And so the method that I've come up with for adult education is the PENTIVIUM, which consists of 5 steps or stages. And those stages are a form of therapy or purification, which consists of the ingestion of various kind of plants that have chemicals in them that are known to be quote-unquote psychedelic, but which really just have the ability to stimulate the brain's usually unstimulated regions and in ways that are unusual in order to alter the state of consciousness, and thus bringing about a change in I guess not only perception but of awareness and of sense of self and understanding of reality. And so this purification process will also be aided with meditation and the various Eastern practices that are available to us, using the psychedelics essentially as a tool for expansion of awareness and of identity, increasing the boundaries of our sense of identity. We can finally come to a place where we can learn the ancient knowledge that is esoteric according to our own culture, but which has been occulted, and which we, through understanding those ancient and occult or hidden knowledge, we may become emancipated from the chains of modern industrial culture. And so with that you end up coming to a point of consolidation, where you are bringing in information from as of yet untapped resources. And then of course the next stage is to then express or to exert that knowledge into the world by teaching others and by essentially encountering the profound, by altering our thoughts in order to be in accordance with reality, to alter our awareness to be in accordance with reality. And this practice can be considered a form of well, self-mastery. Ultimately, that's the goal. The fourth stage in this process is to seek balance with ingesting knowledge and expressing knowledge, with purifying ourselves, as well as really contaminating ourselves with the world, I guess you could say. You know, there's a time for seclusion and a time for inclusion. And so seeking that balance in everything is an important aspect of this entire process. The next stage, after we've reached a point of self-mastery, is simply to play. And it is something important to keep in mind that by the time we reach that level of selfhood, that we can actually just simply be the cause, the causation of our own lives, that is when we will be able to really encounter our own family in a genuine and honest and real way, so that we can then teach them how to play, and do so in a way that we actually create genuinely good human beings with empathy and emotional intelligence as well as intellectual intelligence. And so the UNIVIUM and the PENTIVIUM overlap in such a way that the parents of this new culture and civilization are taking a direct applied role in their children's lives, in such a way that they will actually be able to cultivate enlightenment out of their children, and in such a way we would actually be able to, you know, create a completely new culture and civilization. We'd actually have something closer to civilization. And so the UNIVIUM then graduates into the BIVIUM, which is a gradually more structured form of education, where they would be learning things like, well, being shown things like fractal geometry, and ultimately they would be experimenting with art and with expression, because at this stage they're very phantasmagorical and magical thinking in such a way that it's very conducive to their curiosity to expand their perception of reality and to expand their thought about reality, giving them the sense of curiosity and wonderment that every child is born with, but which is then stifled by the forms of education that we have built up around ourselves. The Prussian education model, which tries to break children instead of trying to emancipate them. And so this graduates from the BIVIUM into the TRIVIUM, which is grammar, logic, and rhetoric. This is a classical liberal art, and so is the QUADRIVIUM, which will be what the children then graduate into after the TRIVIUM. And in such a way that essentially what will happen is that they will become masters of their own realm at that point, at least in terms of themselves and other. The PENTIVIUM's purpose then is to integrate the self and other in such a way that there is no boundary any longer. And so this is the art of living. The gradual process starting from the UNIVIUM, then graduating to the BIVIUM, then the TRIVIUM, then the QUADRIVIUM, and then the PENTIVIUM. However, there's a final and last stage, which is a stage that is designed for a transcendent, evolutionary, consciousness-driven transformation of our civilization into a level 1 civilization. And I call that the HEXIVIUM. And we can discuss the HEXIVIUM in my next video, but for now I will just say that I love you and I appreciate your existence, and I wish you the greatest happiness moving forward. Thank you, and love and appreciation. Agape.